here for another great Wisdom and Knowledge 5 podcast episode. And I bring my good friend on the podcast, Taco. You remember him from the 80s hit, Puttin On The Ritz. He had a string of other hits, Let's Face the Music and Dance, Superphysical Resurrection, which is about today's times. And he's just such a great talent. And, you know, he's a great humanitarian. And he just turned 70, by the way. Happy birthday, Taco. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
It's such an honor, you know, to have you on as a guest. And I love, you know, chatting with you because, you know, we connect as humanitarians.
Not only humanitarians, planetarians.
Exactly. That's your catchphrase that you should copyright, you know. We're all planetarians living on this planet. I love it, you know. So
That's true, you know.
Mhm.
I wish more people would see it that way. You know, it's just one little lonely planet, you know, amongst billions. And yeah, we should take better care of her, you know. Poor lady.
Yeah, I'm with you. And there's a lot of people that are with you. They just don't know about that, your signature catchphrase, you know. So
All the two of us can do is, you know, is spread a little love and
and be a light in this world. Exactly. And that's exactly what we are doing. And congrats on your 70th birthday. You had a nice little bash the other week, right?
yeah. It's so funny. Actually, I didn't want to celebrate, so I booked a holiday by myself. I said, okay, I'm just, you know, it's funny. You have to take the door, take out, and but then so many people said you can't do that. You know, that's once in a lifetime, and so they persuaded me. So I canceled my holidays, and we had this really great bash at a very fun club. So.
Very nice. And then the weekend, was it after that you went to go and see the Earth, Wind, and Fire experience, was it?
Oh gosh, yeah, that was a dream come true. I felt like 17 again. That was a dream come true because I've adored this group, you know, ever since I was 17, and so it was like, you know, going into my little time machine and flying back to the 70s, and yeah, it was my whole youth reloaded. I was in tears, you know, crying. I was like a little kid.
Yeah, that's great. You know, I grew up, you know, listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire and was a big, you know, Philip Bailey fan because I was a diehard Phil Collins fan. They did Easy Lover together, and you know, just Earth, Wind, and Fire's music. After Love Is Gone, September, like you said, you know, they have so many, you know, just catchy tunes. You know, so.
Totally, and I've always loved disco and funk.
Mhm.
And actually, my very first band, Tacos Biz, we 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 did that repertoire. We did a lot of Niles Rodgers stuff.
Oh yes, okay.
We did We Are Family or Good
Mhm.
Times, and we were like really exotic in the whole Hamburg scene at that time because they were
Sure.
all pure, you know, hard rock and rock and
Mhm.
roll, and we were doing disco and.
So we were talking about the, you know, concert that you went to, the Earth, Wind, and Fire experience.
That was mind-boggling, man. It was like flying back in my time machine. Bloop, da, 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 da.
Hmm.
It just it was awesome. It was like
Hmm.
flying with my time machine back to the 70s, and yeah, reliving my past when I would hang out, you know, in the discotheques and the clubs at that time, and it was just awesome. And these guys were all well into their 70s.
Hmm.
For me, you know, just after my birthday, that was such a boost to say, look at these guys, you know, on stage doing choreographies and getting the whole audience excited. No way you can give up.
And I mean, Earth, Wind, and Fire, you can't get more iconic than that. And to see, the experience where it was actually those that were members of Earth, Wind, and Fire, right?
Yeah, some of them were the original band, and
Mm-hmm.
but it was one to one. Uh, yeah, reloaded. The sound was perfect,
Mm-hmm.
and that I found very awesome. That you can find musicians, that have a certain trademark, and that they're able to, yeah, relive it.
Yeah, I mean that style of music, Earth, Wind, and Fire back in the day. I was a big I listened to Earth, Wind, and Fire, on the radio growing up, things like Cool in the Gang too, What I really love Get Down on It and some of their other hits. And I just think that groups like that, they inspired each other. And that era was a whole new era of music.
Yeah, it was incredible,
Hmm.
and I'm so happy. I was out on the town again this weekend, and you hear all the music from the 70s and 80s
Hmm.
blasting out of all the bars, and you're going like, yeah, I know the feeling, and the dance floors were jammed. All these young
Yeah,
people.
I need to be where you are. I went out karaoke because I finally had a weekend night off, and I'm up there doing Phil Collins in the air tonight, and everyone else is doing country. I'm like, and it's not like that. It's North Carolina where I live. It's very diverse. It's not like country backwoods land. It's just like you know. It's not even that kind of country. I mean, I enjoy things like Kenny Rogers,
Oh gosh,
Johnny Cash, you name it. There's timeless country, but this is like I don't know, some trumped up country, so to speak. I mean, the Mason Dixie line, come on. I'm like, yeah, you know, yeah, I mean, different areas, I know that the 80s and such are huge over there. You know what I mean?
totally. Even in the radio stations,
Hmm.
I mean, I do like to hear something new, so now and then, But
Hmm.
yeah, it's quite amusing to hear, you know.
And I shouldn't say that, it's always like that when I go out for karaoke. There's a lot of people with classic rock, depending on where you go. This was just a younger crowd. And I will say this. I've heard the younger crowd there on other like we're a college town, so college is out right now. So it's a
Mm.
different vibe. There's like then the college students out there, but when like it's that age, they'll even know the Neil Diamonds that I had people up there singing your Love by the Outfield. So they know, all kinds of music. So you got to I'll give them that credit for that, you know. And that's what's so great is a lot of people of all ages know like the 70s, the 80s. They respect it.
I think it's the way they used to write back in the day.
Mhm.
Um, I find it, as a writer myself, you get into a situation where the composing has completely changed. We'd have an intro, then you'd slowly go to the bridge, you'd have a middle part, an extra, and so songs were, yeah, it had a beginning and an ending. And now you have about, because the time span for people, to listen has become so short in this whole
Mhm.
multimedia digitalized world. So you just have 5 seconds to show the audience this is what it's about.
Mhm.
So now you're like, bam, here's the hook line, yeah, and then it's all about the rhythm, So to me, a lot is missing in a song,
Mhm.
and yeah,
I
it,
think you're right. I mean, we've even discussed, you and I, things like Eurovision. Some of these things that come out on Eurovision, it's doesn't even sound like music. And it's not just Eurovision, it's music in general. it doesn't sound like music.
No, because you have 5 seconds to sell the song,
Good
and
point.
selling a song is the hook line.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you've got something, okay, James Brown was kind of a forerunner for that. If you just go get up, get on up, everybody
Exactly.
knows. Yeah, okay, I get the message.
Mm-hmm.
But if you start with an intro and the strings come in and uh, yeah, people, yeah, they go, huh? What's this song about? Where's it going to take me? They don't have the patience
Oh
anymore.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that's how we compose now. It's like, get to the point, get to the point.
Mm-hmm.
We just finished the song in the studio, and we really liked it. But then we were, my writing partner says that, yeah, we got to kill our darlings. That intro's
Yeah.
got to go. It's not commercial. You got to
Mm-hmm.
get right into the song.
But at least you know that. You know what it takes to, you know, do
Yeah,
something that potentially is going to be, successful.
yeah, but
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 it's
you're.
sad that it has to go to that.
I know, but it's amputating. So
Mm-hmm.
what we do
I'm
now.
sure.
It's always easier to cut a song down to its, core,
Mm-hmm.
and then just hope that people like it and that they want to hear the maxi version. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so that's what we do now.
And it's
Great.
like classic rock when it lasts nowadays.
No,
You know what I
no,
mean?
no
Not
way.
at all. Oh, sadly.
Yeah, take a song
Mhm.
like MacArthur's Park, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Huge intro. Yeah, but
Yeah.
nobody would find the patience for that nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, changing times. That's for sure. Now, what about you when you were growing up? What were your influences? And, you had mentioned that you were into theater. Did you think you were going to get into acting, or did you think you would get into music?
Well, first of all, it was acting, and
Mm-hmm.
just by chance. Uh, because the musical director of the theater noticed me and he noticed my voice. He says, "Hey, I like the color of your voice. Would you like to come home and I've got shall we do some demos?" Yeah. So working with these musical directors, they noticed my voice, and I remember one of them said, "Hey, I'd like to take you home and record some demos with you." And that's how I got into the studio scene. We recorded some of the demos. Record companies weren't interested in the first stuff I did, but I was shopped around, At least I got to work then as a backup singer. And eventually, with my first band, one studio owner said, "You guys can go in for free for the whole weekend, and but I get the rights for the music." So it was a win-win situation,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm very grateful for that chance. And yeah, and as all young aspiring artists, it's difficult enough, to put a foot into the studios.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just very grateful that at some point, something gave.
Mm-hmm. Now, what were I know Earth, Wind, and Fire was one of them, but what were some of your influences growing up? What were some of your favorite music artists to listen to?
Well, my grandfather used to have his own orchestra, so he would play swing, and he got me acquainted with to classical music. At home, my dad, would have he had a huge record collection. It was always party time, so everything from Edmundo Ross to Sergio Mendes, Latin music. One of the first concerts I went to, I remember, was seeing Ella Fitzgerald in
Ah, yeah.
Frankfurt.
Mm-hmm.
So it was swing, jazz, um, uh, classical music. So everything was played at home.
Mm-hmm.
And at school, I was in the school choir always, and I would do musicals. My very first musical was You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown.
Oh,
So,
wow. Okay.
so
Mm-hmm.
I got acquainted with the American Songbook really early in my early years. So it's never been strange to me.
Yeah. And you went to American schools growing up, right?
Yeah, because ever since we left the Netherlands when I was 8 years old, we went to Singapore first of all, and yeah, and not to lose a year of school, these international schools was the best option for us.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, you never lose a year of school. And then I graduated in Belgium at ISB, and yeah, by that time, we did the Fantastics, Fiddler on the Roof. So it all came natural,
Mm-hmm.
even though I still didn't know, for myself. Oh, I think I'm going to pursue a career in the arts. That was my father again, because when we came
Mm-hmm.
to Germany, he suggested, "Why don't you go to acting school? It's a great chance to
Oh,
learn
very
German."
nice.
He said, "Go to acting school. That's a great
Mm-hmm.
way to learn German. You're in the arts because you're all. I've always noticed you were happy on stage, and that was the best decision I made."
Sure, by far. Mm-hmm.
But it was all without a plan or a clue, and it was
Mm-hmm.
just, yeah. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time, and with a lot of zest and enthusiasm,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, that kind of, yeah.
Very fortunate, for sure. Now, you had an experience where you were going to be on Eurovision, didn't you? And they wanted you to only sing in German.
That's true because it
Please
was.
elaborate on that.
Well, back in the day, the Eurovision was an authors competition. So
Hmm.
people would send their songs in, and I had done an English demo. Um, oh God, what was it called again? It's on one of my Rarities albums.
Okay.
Um, ah, Forgot the English title.
That's
Anyway,
fine.
it was translated into German.
Hmm.
I sang it in German, and the author sent the song to the Eurovision, and the song was picked. And then they asked me if I would sing it in television for the Eurovision.
Hmm.
And why should I say no? So that was my very first television show, Träume brauchen Zeit. And and you could not go into German TV without having a record contract. So I got this fantastic record contract. I had a song out. We made a B side, and before I knew it, I had to go on singing German. And but that was not my ambition. So I had to
No.
CEO and say, please, I want to sing English songs. And he says, no, we want to build you up, like a big German Schlager star. And I go, that's thank you, but no, I want to sing in English, you know. And yeah, so we ripped up the contract, and then I really had to do my homework, sit down
Hmm.
and think, oh gosh, what am I going to do now? And then thank God I remembered that movie, That's Entertainment, which came out in the 70s, and there was a little clip of Clark Gable doing Puttin' on the Ritz.
Hmm.
It's the light. And as you know, in Hollywood, everybody had to sing and dance at some point in their career. And
Sure.
and I
Hmm.
really liked that tune. And new wave music was just starting,
Yep.
and I thought, okay, that might work. The American
Hmm.
Songbook, new wave electronic music, and with that innovative idea, I searched for a producer and found
Hmm.
Dick Parker, and he said, okay, sounds crazy, I'll do it. And he brought in Werner Lang, who was a big thing in the 50s, after the war, and so he knew that whole era of music.
Mm-hmm.
And then we sat down and worked on a concept, uh, which later became After Eight.
And then, what was the year that you came over to the U.S.? Because you were in the U.S. for what, a year?
Oh yeah, I was always touring over
Mm-hmm.
there. Uh, but the funny thing, the whole thing started in Sweden
Mm-hmm.
because they released it in Germany and nobody was interested. You know,
Oh
and
no. Okay.
RCA just threw it out on the market like, okay, let's see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But as we all know, without promotion, nothing happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried everything. I did a deal with huge department stores where they would carry me in like a puppet, and
Mm-hmm.
and I would uh, do this animation to, and when enough
Sure.
people were in the window, I'd say, "Turn on the tape," and then I,
Oh, nice.
I would do Puttin On The Ritz,
Mm-hmm.
and then do an autograph hour after that. But it didn't help, and yeah, and I got pretty fed up. I was very
Mm-hmm.
frustrated. I had done my first band, I had done demos, I tried everything, and
Mm-hmm.
then even this exotic song didn't hit off, and so I started to work at my father's sportswear store, and I was ready to give the whole thing up. And then Sweden called up a half a year later and said, "Yeah, we'd like you to do some promotion. Your song is really bubbling under, and things are really happening for you here." And I go, "In Sweden, of all
You're like,
places?"
why? Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
in Sweden, they picked me up at the airport, in a limo. They expected this very eccentric Liberace kind of guy, and all all dressed up and being really ritzy, and here I was, a down to earth guy in an
Mm-hmm.
overall, and I was like, oh my God, what's going on over here? And at night, I was invited to one of their biggest discotheques, and the guys were all in tuxedos, the girls in gorgeous gowns, and I go, oops, okay, yeah, put on my tux, all that makeup,
Oh
and
yeah.
really hammed it up, and it
Mm-hmm.
started a whole rage over there. And by the time I flew back to Hamburg, they said, "Well, your LP has gold status already." And I said,
Wow.
"Great guys, but I don't have an LP. I just have this 45."
Exactly. Okay.
So that meant going into the studio and working day and night to get After Eight done.
Mm-hmm.
And then the German RCA said, "Oh my God, if it's happening in Scandinavia, there must be something to that song." And then they re-released it, got a whole promotion team set on it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when the magic started happening. And from that day on, I was on the road every single day, and I would just
Mm-hmm.
fly to Hamburg to go into the studio and record, record, record.
Well, I remember sending you, and I just happened to stumble upon it, where Top of the Pops in UK in London, they were talking about they're like, and other European hits. And then they just cracked a joke about putting on the Ritz, or like, taco sounds like Mexican food or something, remember? And it's just, I was stunned that it didn't chart in UK.
It's so weird because I heard much later that it was Lady Diana's favorite song. She
I'm
always used
sure,
to love
yeah.
to sing it to it. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Maybe they didn't promote it right, or
But they like to promote. I've heard that they like to promote their own musicians over there, right? I think that's why, because they like to promote predominantly their musicians.
yeah, which is generally okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it's difficult an artist from the continent to go over and rehearse British musicians to get that special sound, because at that time nobody was really doing that kind of electronic music.
No.
That would have been a lot of work, just for one show.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so we missed that. Maybe in the future I'll make it to Britain one day.
There
I
you
have a
go.
lot of fans there.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's what I was going to say. I'm sure you have a lot of fans there, regardless of what happened, and at least they did. You got to give Top of the Pops credit. At least you were so popular that they couldn't ignore you, for that one segment. And normally I don't see them doing segments like that, other hits across Europe. I just stumbled upon that.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about music.
Mm-hmm.
Same with the way older songs pop up nowadays.
Sure.
Like, you'll see it in commercials, and then all of a sudden, bam, it's there again.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you just can't uh, steer it. There's no way you can steer it.
Yeah.
All we can do as a musician is, put out a song. And that's basically what we're doing today, with my new company that I work for, Aviator.
Mm-hmm.
We have all the freedom to do whatever we want. There's not a record company telling us, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. And we just throw out randomly, music that we do now.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the hope of catching a huge international audience. And
Sure.
now look at what we've accomplished. I just got an award for over 100 million streams.
Yeah, and even some of your older stuff, like "Singing in the Rain," got, what was it, 500,000 views or something?
Yeah, it's incredible. I just got a YouTube
Plaque, right? Yeah.
for over 100,000 um, uh, subscribers.
And what's incredible is you get the credit for it, because I've noticed other people, like the Safety Dance, for instance. There's other accounts that are not, affiliated with Men Without Hats that have like millions of views, and that's not right. It should go straight to them only. I mean, obviously, these other accounts are not getting paid for it. YouTube won't do that. They won't allow other accounts to get. But why are they even allowed to post it?
The internet is free. It's a free fight.
Yeah. But they do have a lot of regulations on YouTube. It's like even for like an intro for for this interview, I couldn't post one of your songs because it would be copyright.
Yeah, they're very strict on it. And
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's always two sides of the coin.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still sad to see that we artists, make the least
Mm-hmm.
off of our music. Like all my songs you can hear on iTunes,
Spotify, all those. Yeah.
all platforms.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm putting together a new band because the only way, I can make money is, by going out and work live.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So because you're like going, why are these people still on the road?
Mm-hmm.
And putting all this stress on themselves. It's because that's where you make the money.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But you know what you got to do in today's times, and I think a lot of musicians get that.
Yeah. But to be fair, I'm just very happy that people are still listening to my stuff, and I can put out new written music.
Mm-hmm.
But we also take care of the old repertoire. A lot of stuff is being remixed. There's a new remix of "Puttin On The Ritz" coming out this fall, which should be really exciting. One of the top remixers of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Got to go at it, and it turned out fantastic.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, you're gonna love it. It's and it will definitely appeal to a whole new audience. So
nice.
Kids. And, yeah, so Grandpa's got to go out and put on the Ritz.
So that will be your October surprise.
Yeah.
Not to act like U.S. politicians. The October surprise. Oh, geez.
My
Yeah.
big, beautiful reprise.
Oh, we're not allowed to say "big beautiful" anymore after Trump's big beautiful bill. There's all these things banned now because of it, and I'm glad. And another thing that you didn't even mention is you look incredible. That's one thing you should be thankful for. So
Yeah, it's just the Indonesian genes,
yes,
and the exotic food.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, being Dutch too, of course, I'm wearing the Netherlands, jersey because you're a big Netherlands fan,
I was gonna wear mine too. I completely.
No, this is a good look for you, So yeah.
Yeah. First, the number terrified me, but then again, I say, my God, I'm still around.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still here.
There you go. Yeah, well, I take it that you're like me, you don't think about the numbers, you know what I mean? Birthdays are birthdays, but so
I talk to a lot of young people who, if they're depressed or saying, "Oh, I can't cope with life," I say, "Come on,
mm-hmm.
the ride is so short. I mean, this life has gone by so fast,
Yeah.
and it's accelerating and accelerating." And so I always, and I've had my ups and downs, believe me.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always noticed, when one door closes, before you know it, another one opens again.
Exactly. Oh, I've witnessed it so many times throughout my life, and just me being, I've lived all over the U.S. West Coast, Chicago. Grew up in Michigan. Now I'm here in North Carolina, and just whatever brought me here to North Carolina, it just feels like it's home. So it's like thankful for the opportunities that led me here.
That's the most important thing, is that you're always honest to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in a situation you don't like, get out of it.
Yeah,
You don't
exactly.
have to do everything.
No.
And if you don't like the situation, just move out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people stay in a miserable situation because they're scared of what else might happen. Yeah, I think it's, so important to just stay curious.
Mm-hmm.
And I wake up every morning, I go, oh my God, I'm still there. Let's see what we can do with this day. And don't see it as a burden. And of course, you need a big portion of humor, because it's not all fun and roses, and it's yeah, sometimes it is really tough. But
Yeah.
I think we get our fate thrown upon us, and we we can always just handle that
Mm-hmm.
what we can handle, and if it's too much, then learn to say nah, no. Even I had
Yeah.
to learn to say no, because when I was younger, I always said yes, let's do this, let's do that, and
Mm-hmm.
then comes that day where you say no, no, I don't feel like going now. I
Mm-hmm.
need some time for myself, and you learn that, especially when you're touring. That's what I found out, that life is nothing else but an energy game, and
Mm-hmm.
you can only give so much, but you also have to learn, to set back and take energy, and
Mm-hmm.
receive it. That's one of the wonderful things in entertainment, when you're on stage and people give you so much energy, the audience, and so it's always give and take.
And I think it's important that you manage. The most successful people are the ones that actually manage their own life and realize that they are in control of their lives, instead of, oh, I'm going to blame this factor, that factor, the other factor. You're in charge of your own life.
Yeah, and if more people would realize that, they
Mm-hmm.
would so unhappy.
Yeah.
They
Hmm.
wouldn't take so much BS, and
Yeah.
we all have the right, to open our mouths and say, "No, I don't like this situation. Let's get out of it."
Hmm.
And
Yeah, and I think we all have the right, well, we do. We all have the right to, stand up for humanity, to, be a light in this world, to care for others. And this is, uh, it seems like dark times, but there are a lot of people coming together, and it's sad what, at least here, what it's come to. I mean, you and I have discussed it, and it's not the same America like when you were only here that 1 year, right? Pretty
well,
much.
I was in and out, of
Yeah.
course, because most of my family lives in the United States, and
Yes.
uh,
Hmm.
so we keep contact, and
Yeah.
a lot of friends that I have in around the whole state. So we're on Facebook, or we FaceTime, on Messenger. So I'm
Hmm.
very well informed of what's going on.
Oh yeah, of course.
And but for me, it's very sad, especially as a planetarian, an artist that appeals to people all over the world. I keep
Hmm.
contact from Russia to the United States, Canada,
Exactly.
and funny enough, we all get along, and we
Hmm.
all have a
Yeah, I
common
know that's what it
denominator.
takes, but it's like they don't want that. You know what I mean? Like the powers that be, whether it be the elites, the ruling class, politician. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's an unhealthy situation if you give
Hmm.
one person too much power,
Yeah,
and that goes for everything, not only politics. It,
yeah,
it,
for
it
sure.
it's
Hmm.
all about families. If you've got the patriarch who says this is how it's done,
Yeah.
bam, you're going to get a very unhappy family.
Hmm.
Constantly struggling. Say, hey, I exist too.
Yeah.
And that's what people should learn. It's teamwork, and
Exactly.
I'm a team player from A to Z,
Hmm.
and that's how it's supposed to work. There's always a chance, for a compromise.
Yeah.
You it, Everything mustn't go your way. There's always a good
Hmm.
compromise, and you learn that in music when you're composing. And I might have an idea, say, "Hey, that would be really nice," but then I've worked with a lot of other musicians. But if another musician comes up with a much better idea, hell, then you do it.
Hmm.
It's all for it's working together. What is good for us? What's good for the music? What's good for the country? Uh,
Yeah. What's good for the world?
yeah,
Exactly. Hmm.
yeah. It's very simple. If the world is coughing, and it's being polluted, and people say I can't breathe,
Yeah.
and we all know what to do, you know,
Hmm.
to change it, because we have all the possibilities. We have all the techniques.
We have all these resources, but you're right, it's not just like politics, because you also see like media playing the same thing. I mean, you and I have personally discussed it's so sad what's going on with the genocide in Gaza, and then they'll put like I'm looking at work in the on the front of the Wall Street Journal, it says Netanyahu is going to take over Gaza,
It's
and they don't
ridiculous.
even care that it's like in, or for instance, not that I'm trying to drag this conversation into politics, but for instance, South Park, you've actually been on the Simpsons, right?
3 times.
Yeah, 3 times. Wow, because the Simpsons has predicted a lot. Well,
Yeah.
South Park did, their new season, and they really ripped on Gnome. And you know what? Gnome didn't care. No, no. What Gnome was upset about, the Ice Barbie, so to speak. What she was upset about was, oh, they're making fun of my plastic surgery. They didn't. Not that they were showing her inhumane, arresting all these people with ice. She didn't care about that.
Yeah.
How inhumane can you be?
It is inhumane.
Mm-hmm.
And we should all stand up and because deep down inside, everybody knows what's wrong or right.
Mm-hmm.
And and that's the whole problematic thing about working with fear. If you let fear take over,
Yeah.
you shut up and you
Mm-hmm.
just say, "No, I don't want to get involved." And I know it's a lot of people have problems with that to
Mm-hmm.
just open their mouth, and yeah, it's an unhealthy development because I think
Yeah.
it's very important. It starts, with children. I just wish, we can learn a lot about from children
Mm-hmm.
because children they don't know any kind of prejudice,
Yeah.
and it's wonderful to see they get along and they fight it out,
Mm-hmm.
but it's somewhere along the line it's the adults that
Yeah.
impose a point of view on them, and
Mm-hmm.
if we would listen more to kids.
Well, look
uh,
at that. Look at that song. It was originally George Benson, and then Whitney Houston did it, "The Greatest Love of All," where she's like, "I believe the children are our future."
yeah, but
Like
we
they
don't
got it. You
yeah, but
know.
we don't listen to children anymore. On the
Yeah.
contrary,
Good
we
point.
start suppressing them
Mm-hmm.
instead of seeing them as a beautiful soul with
Mm-hmm.
a point of view.
Yeah.
There's also no need to educate children. You just have to be a good example to them,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll find out naturally what's wrong or right.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
very pragmatic about that, and but okay, that's my point of view.
But one thing I will say, I mean, is like I think the 20 somethings are the major ones, at least here, and it seems like probably other parts of the world that are really starting to, stand up and speak out for peace, for love, against war, against, big corporations ruling over us. And that is very encouraging to see.
It's always like I'm a kid. I'm an old hippie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had those protests back in the '60s,
Yep.
and then it was pretty cool, '70s and '80s, and then you see a whole new generation, going in a complete different direction. I guess it's the way of the world, it always shifts from one extreme to the other. And
Mm-hmm.
this is the revolution that's going to come now. And,
Yeah.
uh, and all I can say is go for it. I would also love
Exactly.
to see
Thank you.
more younger people in politics and yeah, leave it. Young generations, they should have their chance.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And for me, it's very simple, to talk to younger people and say, listen, you make your own experience. I could tell you a lot, but it's not up to me. You make your own experiences,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'll find, because nothing is more terrible than somebody telling you, yeah, but you got to do this, and this is the way it's got to go. So, no, find out by yourself.
Yeah,
And
I was the same way. I never, did that, So
yeah,
yeah.
but
So by experience. And do you see, things getting better in the world?
I see it, everything polarized now.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I'm afraid that there are like two powers really, you feel it literally every day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's a huge spiritual awakening, and then all the old structures that are
Yeah.
struggling to keep that power.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very optimistic that this whole spirituality is going to win in the end. But it's going to be a struggle. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I don't see because you see it worldwide. That's the whole phenomena. It's not just
Mm-hmm.
the United States. You see it in Russia. You see it in
Europe, yeah, all over.
all
Mm-hmm.
over. It's two forces, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and it's got to clash. You know,
Yeah.
but
Mm-hmm.
that's the way of the world. You know?
Just with the world, I think you nailed it, So what do you think?
Yeah, well, this I'm convinced that this world it wasn't created to be. In German, we have a saying: "This world is not a pony farm.
Mm-hmm.
It's a battleground. It's a place where you learn. There's a lot of conflict, and I get a lot of comfort from Buddhist
Mm-hmm.
teaching, uh, where they also tell you this is a place to learn. You are confronted with a lot of situations uh, that are not easy to handle, but if you overcome them and can see behind the scenes, then you can learn to cope with this planet
Mm-hmm.
and the people on it.
So in closing, what message of encouragement can you give to this world, to all the planetarians?
Well, I'd say the way is, like you said in the song, you have to learn to love yourself. And if
Mm-hmm.
you love and respect yourself, then you are able to give that love on to other people. And too many people spend too much time on superficial things or trying to please other persons. First,
Mm-hmm.
learn to find out who you are, get comfortable with the person you are. Many
Oh
people
yeah.
don't even
Mm-hmm.
know what is inside of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the key to happiness, finding out
Yeah.
what you are about, and then you can share that with other people.
And that message has been in so many songs. 'Cause I remember growing up listening to Ricky Nelson Garden Party. Can't please everyone, so you got to please yourself.
Yeah,
Seriously.
yeah, seriously. And then a lot of, because the more you understand yourself, the more you understand other people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I know those feelings.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the only message I have.
Mm-hmm.
It's from going inside so you can give outside.
Yeah.
And,
Mm-hmm.
and
So,
then, yeah.
well, I really appreciate you, coming on as a guest. This was quite the experience, wasn't it, Taco? And you're an incredible soul. I'll be sure to post your YouTube and your fan club link in the description
Oh,
for the
that's sweet.
podcast.
That's very sweet.
This was a lot of fun. We need more humanitarians like us out there. So,
Yeah, it's all we've got.
mhm.
Oh, we're all stuck in the same house, and if the roof is on fire, you got to get water to put
Mhm.
to put it out. And
Exactly. Mhm. So,
yeah.
well, thanks so much, Taco. Appreciate it.